Is it gonna do its thing? Yeah, here
Oh,
it
we're
is.
actually making a video.
Hello, what's up, YouTube? It's 2:30 in the morning. This is Geek Town Mafia. I got Sariph the Feral here.
How's it going?
I got Kitty Lynz here.
Hi.
And we're gonna do a new little segment that we call Late Night Talk Show with Big Kahuna. And the question that just came up is, what'd you ask, Sariph?
I asked, what starter Pokemon would you choose if you had the choice of, a Pokemon from the world, but it could not be a legendary?
Now, I think I'm pretty much gonna have to Google a list of Pokemon because I never really knew any of the Pokemon.
Blasphemy.
I mean, I know like
That's
the
pretty
like
horrible.
Pikachu and Charizard and all that stuff.
Now, are we talking like original 150 here, or are
Yeah,
we going?
we're gonna say original 150 just because there's way too many Pokemon at the moment.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that was the best. That was the best era, I feel.
I don't know. Lindsay?
I'm still gonna have to go with Magikarp. He's
Why?
like the Derp King. He's the Derp King, and then Gyarados is awesome. I don't know.
My video. Oh, there it goes. It's back. Okay. Alright, new
What a-
question.
Well, what about you, Sal?
Like I said, I don't know. I really don't know that many Pokemon.
I'd start out with an Eevee.
Eevee is a good
Eevee?
choice.
Now, I could go any way with an Eevee, and plus, there's only one Eevee in the game, essentially. So you can breed that shit and give it to other people. Like, hey, I got a family of Eevees.
I got a family of Eevees.
I got
motherfucker.
Eevees on Eevees on Eevees.
We put
Right.
Eevees in your Eevees so you can battle while you battle.
Yeah, Eeveeception.
Eeveeception.
Next question, Sal.
I can do it.
Alright, next question. Favorite World of Warcraft race?
Ooh.
Ah, why are you gonna do that to me now?
We'll go.
'Cause if
we'll
you-
go- No.
If
we'll
you asked
go-
me this like 2 months ago, I would have had to say Forsaken. I'm kind of obligated there, but these pandas are just so damn cute, and I'm a girl. I can't help it.
Yeah, it's also a tough question for me, seeing as I've played at least every race to level 20. I'm gonna have to go with Tauren because that was what Sariph was before I moved to hang out with you, Sal.
Yeah. I'd have to go with, yeah, if I asked this question about a year ago, I would have gone with Gnome. And, now it's probably Human.
Aw, human, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, I really like, a Forsaken Warlock. That'd be my favorite thing to have.
I'd probably have to go with Forsaken because I've been attached to them for the longest, since Vanilla, really. And they have the most in-depth, compelling storyline to me, but I am
Well-
really picking all the new stuff.
I've had my Night Elf Hunter for like 6 years now. It's just, you don't go by what you had the longest.
No, I'm not going by what I had the longest. I'm going by what what's the word I'm looking for? What I relate to the most, what moves me the most.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed the Forsaken out of all of the... I mean, I've always been a Horde player till recently.
Yeah. I got you.
And I don't know. I just think Tauren, no matter what class you pick with a Tauren, they're just badasses. Like if you see a Tauren running at you with a staff and you know he's a healer, you're still like, oh, he's gonna fuck some shit up.
I'm too busy thinking about steak.
Yeah. Shut up. But if I had to choose like horde and an alliance, because that seems to be the little what's going on here, I'd have to say Tauren and gnomes, the two polar opposites.
Right? I was looking at a chart the other day, and it showed me the size comparison, and gnomes are like 3 feet tall, and Tauren are like 8 to 9 feet tall. I was like, that's ridiculous.
But aren't trolls, if they stand up straight, they're supposed to be the tallest?
Yeah, when trolls stand up straight, they're the tallest.
Which they never do, so it doesn't matter.
No, only when they're stretching. I like trolls. I don't know, I like a lot of them. They did a lot of cool ones.
Yeah.
Lindsay?
I wish there were some more pretty horde options. Like, you can make a decent looking Forsaken and an almost decent looking troll, but there's no way to make an orc girl look pretty. There's just not. I guess that's why they let pandas be both races, so horde could have something cute other than a freaking stupid blood elf.
See, I'm surprised you say that, because most horde players are like, "Rawr, no cuteness here."
Right.
Like even girls I know who play horde.
That's why when the thing came out, when Cataclysm came out,
Yeah.
they gave us Worgen. They gave Alliance Worgen because they wanted the Worgen or the Alliance to be like more beastie and gross. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
I don't think the horde are just about being gross and about being. I mean, they are about being more powerful than the Alliance and more battle ready, I feel. But that doesn't mean they have to be gross.
Alright, for the Alliance. Alright, next question. Lindsay?
Yes.
Ugh.
I'm not even going to get into that. I'm just going to let it slide.
You got a question, Lindsay, or?
Oh, maybe I should have been. You should have told me I had to think of stuff.
Oh. Jeez. Alright. Alright, well, I got one.
Come back.
Come back to me. Favorite WoW expansion?
Probably going to have to be this one. I'm really enjoying Mop. Like, I enjoyed the changes that Cataclysm brought because I was starting to get kind of bored with WoW. But the animation, everything's so much more fluid. They really brought it with Mob that I'm able to enjoy it more, I feel like. I wish they would update more of their character models and, well, every model really could have all the points of articulation like these do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm thinking, Burning Crusade holds a deepness in my heart. It was the first time you were able to fly. It was the first time you were allowed off of the main continent, and for playing since vanilla, that was a really big deal for me back in years ago. Shit.
I can remember the first time I flew. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, I wasn't high enough level yet. Like Lindsay and Sal both know that I hate leveling with a passion. I can't do it. I've had pandas since launch night, and my druid's still at level fucking 87 or about to be 87.
I just hit 88 on my hunter, so I know what that's like.
I'm about to have 390s, so
I'm gonna have all 1190s by this time next year.
Oh yeah, when the next expansion launches.
Yeah, probably.
Now I'm gonna disagree with both of you. I felt that Wrath of the Lynch King was the best expansion. Personally, because of the raids, and healing was just so easy. Made my life so easy.
I was glad about Lich King because they finally brought more story to it, and that was nice. I was glad to see them getting back into the lore.
Yeah, I liked I liked all the expansions. I can't. It's hard for me to pick just one. My whole thing was like the biggest thing that I liked was, well, when I started actually doing my recordings and stuff for my music, was right before Lich King came out. I was so pumped to play a Death Knight. It wasn't even funny.
Yeah, I remember I was a week before Wrath hit. I was trying really, really hard to get it tuned to 55 just so I could roll a Death Knight. And I ended up deleting that Death Knight, getting Blizzard to give him back, and then doing it 2 more times. I couldn't make up my mind. My Death Knight is still 83. Just chilling there.
I like your story about not having a high enough level character, because when my dad bought, I didn't know I was getting Lich King for Christmas, but my dad's like, hey, what do you think about that new WoW expansion? Like, kind of hinting at like I was getting it, and I was like, well, I'd like to get it, but I don't have enough levels to be able to use any of the expansion. And he goes, well, you better get leveling then. And this was like 3 weeks before Christmas.
Nice.
That's great. Yeah, I remember I got my DK to 80 when the cap was 80, and I rolled that DK for a while, back when Frost DK was the main. Like, Frost DK was how you would tank. You would dual hand.
Yes.
And yeah, that's what I really liked about that. And then the patch hit where they made Blood their dedicated tanking, and I just stopped playing them and started playing my Hunter. I don't know. It's just crazy.
I think this is probably going to be the first expansion where I actually get excited about and do a lot of in-game stuff. Because I usually have level capped characters, but I still just fiddle around and do a lot of the side quests because people get so serious business about in-game. I don't want to get bogged down like that. I don't want it to feel like a job. But this stuff, I don't know, I'm just enjoying it so much. I think I'll actually raid this time.
I don't know. I've done Raid Finder, and I've done the first 2 bosses in the vaults, the new raid, and they're complicated, but it's a good time. Like, the raids are how they should be. They're nice, well balanced. The Raid Finder is really good. I don't know. I think that they did do a really good job with Mist. I will give them that, though. Mist and that was like the smoothest launch I've ever seen too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been. There's been very few bugs.
Like,
and
go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, I feel like the one reason, probably the only reason, that this launch was so good, like so smooth, was because of the massive amount of players that were actually allowed to beta test it.
Mhm.
I mean, you had those people who. Sure, you did have those people who only got the beta because they were, because they had the annual pass, and they just played it because they wanted to play Pandas. They didn't really realize that they were beta testing it, quote unquote. But then you did have those players who knew how to beta test and did it.
Yeah, and they found all the bugs, and it was. And the other thing about it is we were in because it launched, of course, at 12 o'clock. Whatever time they are, but we live on the East Coast, so we had to stay up till 3 a.m. just for it to launch. But we were in playing at like 2:45. So I mean, it went smoothly. It was good launch. I give them props for it.
Yeah.
All right.
I've got a question.
Okay.
Who would win in a battle of wits, power, not necessarily power, but a battle of wits and technology versus Batman and Tony Stark?
Tony Stark.
It's Tony Stark.
I really thought that was going to go a different way. I was kind of hoping for a heated discussion, but I no, Lindsay, I applaud you for that. Because I was gonna be on the Tony Stark side, and you were supposed to.
I was supposed to pick Batman over Tony Stark in a battle of wits and technology.
Okay, well,
Seriously?
first of all, Tony Stark is not a superhero. It's Iron Man and the Iron Man suit that is the superhero. So I say you put Batman and then Tony Stark in the ring together, Batman may win. But if you
Right.
put Batman and Iron Man in the ring together, Iron Man's gonna beat the shit out of Batman.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to counter that because he said the battle was wits and technology, not necessarily fighting strength and stuff. So
Well then,
Well, I assume
Tony
that
Stark
was. I
will
just kind of
pull it
assumed
out.
that was given.
yeah, well, it wasn't. Okay,
no,
I'm
no.
playing
Okay.
devil's
Wait. Tony Stark is really, really smart, and Bruce Wayne has other people be smart for him.
Very true.
It's true facts.
Yeah, that's actually my. My.
Did I steal your
Bat-
argument?
Yeah, that's my argument. Like when people are like, "Oh, Batman's so awesome," I'm like, "Batman ain't got shit. He's got money. That's it."
Well, if you want to go like to the original Batman stuff, he did most of the designs himself. Like if you want to go freaking old school into the comic books, which I'll totally do to you, but but yeah, now this new modern Batman, he does tend to have other people
Do his shit for him.
make his designs and make his stuff for him.
Alright, well, I think this has been a very good late night questionnaire with Big
Can I get a
Kahuna.
question now that I've thought of one?
You have one? Let's hear
Since
it.
we're finally off the topic of WoW.
Let's hear
I
it.
was gonna go. Let's keep it on the fantasy line. Favorite fantasy series.
Ooh,
That's a hard one.
that is a hard one.
I was gonna say out of anything, but we might want to narrow it down to just pick like one book or one movie or one TV series.
Ooh. Would Dexter count as a fantasy?
It could, I suppose. It doesn't have to be. I mean, fantasy is a very loosely defined canon.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, essentially, Firefly is a fantasy, but it's
It's more on the sci-fi. I mean, I'm talking more
Sci-fi.
fantasy than sci-fi fantasy. So
right.
if you asked me, I'd say no, Dexter's not fantasy, but you know, other
As would
people-
I.
Okay, alright. What if I...
I'm thinking more along the like Lord of the Rings epic fantasy kind of.
Oh.
Real fantasy.
Would it have to be a game or not a game, a series like movies or?
No,
I mean-
it just has to be fantasy, bro. It's not that hard.
Well, you come up with
My
one, bitch.
personal favorite is a series of books by Sarah Douglas called The Wayfarer Redemption. There's actually 9 books, but she broke it up into 3 trilogies. And just the depth of the lore and the characters and everything, it's just probably my all-time favorite.
Well, then
There's a lot of stuff that I love, but that's my number one.
I'm gonna say Gears of War is my favorite fantasy. And don't tell me it's not a fantasy because it is.
It's your fantasy.
Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, best games ever invented. That's all I gotta say.
I'm slightly torn again. Basically, I found a new love for Game of Thrones when it came out as a TV series. I didn't read the books prior to the TV series coming out, but then I was like, "Ooh, Game of Thrones! This looks cool," and picked up the books and read them.
See, I'm horrible because I haven't started watching it yet. I'm like the only person I want to.
I
Have you read the books?
Here, no, because I've
Okay.
got so many books on my plate. I was waiting until I got here before I watched it, and then I just haven't started yet because it took forever to get my stupid VPN.
Is it on Netflix?
No.
It's on HBO Go, which my VPNs sometimes lets me access.
I guess I gotta get an HBO account. But yeah, that's all the time we have for our late night questionnaire with Big Kahuna.
Sariph the Pharaoh.
I'm Kitty Lynz.
Alright, we'll be back later, guys.